Hi, friends. Welcome back to another episode of the Scholar Budget Podcast, where we help students like you to earn a debt-free degree and navigate finances. So, friends, we've been talking a lot about scholarships, the scholarship process, and different scholarship organizations. And so I want to ask you, have you ever been that student that was like, okay, today I'm going to go look for scholarships? You go on a specific search engine or a specific website, and by the time you're done, you're feeling frustrated. Why? Because you have not found scholarships that are a good fit for you. If you've ever had this issue, or if you're still struggling to find scholarships, then today's episode is going to be just for you because we are talking to bold.org. This is an amazing organization that's helping to position students to earn a debt-free degree by sharing tons of scholarships, and you can find the scholarships that are a good fit for you without having to click on tons of links. Everything is on bold.org. So today's guest is Haley Serrano. She is the engagement manager. She overviews social media campaigns and the life cycle of students and donors through bold.org. And Haley is really giving us a lot of awesome nuggets that we can start implementing right now. And it will help you to not only get scholarships through bold.org, but scholarships in general. So pause right now, go get your paper, go get your pencil. You want to take notes and jump right in. You're listening to the Scholar Budget Podcast, where we teach you how to earn a debt-free degree, grow your money, and claim every opportunity with your name on it. I'm your host, Raquel Bartoli. Let's jump right in. Hi, Haley. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited.
Awesome. We are also excited as well. I love your organization and I'm so excited to hear more so our listeners can take advantage of all the awesome things that you're doing at bold.org. So let's just jump right in.
Right.
Haley, can you tell us more? Tell our listeners more about your specific role at bold.org. What do you do? Yeah, share all the good stuff.
Yeah, so I just started, I started at bold.org about 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago as a social media manager, and I slowly worked my way up. Right now, my official title is engagement manager. So basically, I overlook all social media efforts as well as our life cycle processes for our students and our donors and dealing with things like email marketing and social media campaigns and things like that.
Awesome. And how did you get into this role?
So they found me on LinkedIn. So the viewers watching, I used to be one of those people who are like, oh, nobody gets jobs off of LinkedIn. It's just like a resume building thing. But I got a message from one of their recruiters and that's how I got the job. So everyone keep their LinkedIn profiles updated because you never know who's going to see it.
Right. LinkedIn is legit. I love it. And so what is the mission of bold.org? Because some of our listeners are hearing about bold.org for the first time. So what would you say the core mission is?
Well, the core mission overall is to do our part in eliminating student debt. We know how out of control the student debt crisis has been. So we just really want to help in that area.
I love it. And I'm so glad that we got to connect because that is the same mission of this podcast, is really helping students to be able to go to college and earn a degree with as little debt as possible. Because you can imagine as a student, you've already got all these other anxieties and excitement about just being a student, taking classes and doing all the things that they tell you to do, be involved, join clubs, etc. And then having to pay for it is just a whole nother task. Yeah. So awesome. And so what makes bold.org like unique compared to all the other scholarship platforms? Because there's a lot of them out there. So what would you say makes your organization unique?
Yeah, so just off the bat, we have exclusive scholarships on our platform. So I think a lot of the other scholarship websites, it's kind of like a whole database and you click and you go to like third-party websites here and there. With bold.org, every single scholarship is exclusive to the platform, so you can't find it anywhere else. So all of our scholarships are all settling in one place.
Beautiful. So like when I go there, I can feel very VIP, right? Because it's exclusive. I don't have to go all over the place and it's all in under one hub. Love it.
Correct.
Awesome. And so what would you say the process looks like for a student they're on bold.org right now, and they want to earn a debt-free degree. They're listening to this podcast and they're like, you know what? Haley has inspired me and I'm going to go get this money. What does that process look like for them as they're getting ready to apply?
Yeah, so we make it super simple to apply for our scholarships. For example, if somebody's watching this right now and they haven't even started on bold.org, but they want to, you would just head straight to bold.org, and on the welcome screen, you would click continue as an applicant. You would fill out all the questions just so we could have a little bit more information about you to match more scholarships to you. Once you're in, you have access to an entire database of scholarships. So on our platform, there's a banner that says scholarships. You click on that, and you can scroll for hours and hours and hours and hours. You could even filter them by major or by the nearest deadline, by the amount, highest amount, lowest amount. There's so many filters you can do, and by interest, by likes and stuff. So it's really easy to find a scholarship that you're eligible for. And once you do, you simply click on it, and then it shows you all the information about the scholarship. And if there's an essay on the bottom, there's a spot to just drop an essay. You drop an essay, click submit, and that's it.
Love it. And do most of the scholarships require an essay, or are any of them, like for creatives, do they have to like submit a drawing? What would you say the majority of them look like?
Yeah, so the majority of our scholarships do require an essay. However, we also have no essay scholarships, the one click to apply. And for we do have more creative ones that would either say like, okay, submit a video or submit a portfolio. So there are a few creative ones and just ones with no essay at all.
Awesome. And so just talking about the one click to apply ones, because we make sure students are aware that that not all scholarships are created equal, and not all scholarships are the same, and the process is different. So some students will look like they're going to listen to this now and they're going to be like, what? There's some without an essay? Let me just go for all the one clickers, right? So what would you say make those scholarships, the ones that you just, submit your information and click, different from the ones where you actually have to put in some work to earn that scholarship?
Yeah, well, I would say the main difference is the amount of competition, right? So if you are a student mainly replying on the one-click no essay scholarships, chances are you probably won't even win a scholarship, because the competition for no essay, like think about it, with a no essay scholarship that's open to everybody, everyone's going to apply because it's one click,
right.
Click. Whereas if there's a scholarship for women in STEM, there's only going to be a certain amount of students applying for that one. So I would definitely say don't rely 100% on these no essay scholarships. They're more like a fun thing. And when you get tired of writing essays, you're like, okay, it's time for a no essay, time for a no essay. So
right. I love that you emphasize that. So it's like, spend your time on the ones that are very specific and like a good fit for you. And you can do the ones that are, less work, but like you said, it's kind of like playing the lotto. Like everybody's going to play, somebody's going to win, but the chances of you winning compared to doing one that's like STEM or nursing, etc. So I'm really glad that you emphasize that, because I know students are like, you'll ask them, hey, did you apply for some scholarships? And they're like, yeah, I applied for 15. Like, oh, tell me more. And they're like, yeah, I just had to click and submit,
Yeah.
So thank you for emphasizing that, go for those good fit scholarships, because they matter too.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. And so I know you've been with bold.org for a few years now. Can you think of or share some success stories or examples of students who have benefited from your organization and the scholarships? Maybe some repeat winners. Who really comes to mind for you?
Yeah, so just I'll give an overall, and then I'll give a more specific one. But overall, we've given away, Bold.org has given away millions of dollars in scholarships to students. And what's cool about our platform too is we're very transparent about our winners. So there is a filter on our website. If you go to scholarships and filter as it's like open, close, or awarded. So you click awarded, and every single scholarship that has an awarded badge on it, you can click on it, see who won, see the finalists, and even see the winner's essay if they allowed their essay to be public. So we're very transparent about all of our winners. And a more specific example, so we have a partnership with MMA fighter Kat Zingano. So she has launched the Overcoming Loss Scholarship, and she kind of this is her third year renewing it, and she just had chosen her winner recently. So the winner was a girl named Anna Wiggins, and it was really great because she was very personal with her, and went on a Zoom call with her to tell her she had won and to really listen to
Wow.
her story about her losses in her life. So it's really really emotional, really heart touching. But
Yeah.
she was very impacted by the scholarship, and it was a $10,000 scholarship as well.
Wow. I love
Yeah.
it. That's so awesome. To know that like real people are, making the sacrifice and helping scholars and even putting that extra touch to it.
Yeah.
So that's pretty amazing. And so can high school students and college students apply uh, through bowl.org, or is it just a certain age range?
Yeah, so you have to be at least 14 years old
Okay.
to have a website. So basically, as a freshman in high school, you could start applying if you're eligible for any of the scholarships.
Awesome. And is there like a limit or a cap, or can a student just keep applying, keep winning, keep winning?
Yeah, there's no cap. There's no cap with we do have there's badges on bold.org profiles. Some are like three-time winner, three-time
Oh,
finalist. So
wow.
there's no
Okay.
cap of how many scholarships you can apply to and no cap on how many you could win as well.
Wow, I love that. You hear that? Students, you hear that, scholars? No cap, like no cap for real this time. You can keep going, you can keep applying, you can keep getting the money. So we really need to put in some time on bold.org. And so, Haley, we have various listeners right now, some high school students, some college students, and even some parents, right? Because we know that accountability, parents have to be a part of the process. So, what
Yeah.
advice would you give to students who are looking to apply for scholarships on bold.org? Like if you had your top two things that you could say to either prepare them or for the essay, like what would you share?
Yeah, so I would say the number one thing we kind of touched on a little bit earlier, but is to look for more specific scholarships. So tailored to your likes, your interest, your major. Like I said before, if you're applying to a Women in STEM scholarship versus a no essay, one click scholarship, there's going to be less competition in the STEM scholarship. So the more
Right.
specific you tailor your scholarship that you're applying for, and some are even by state. It's like students in this major in New Jersey. So that's an even smaller amount of students applying. So the more specific
Absolutely.
scholarship, the higher your chances are at winning the scholarship. So that would be my number one. And I would say another one is to just really be authentic in your essays, because I think so many times students just write about what they think people want to hear, what they think maybe the scholarship committee wants to hear, and they're not very truthful to themselves. And
Mm,
I can't tell you how many I mean, how many applications we have that sound the same, because it's these students thinking that this is what we want to hear. So we're hearing the same story over and over and over, and they're not
right.
being very authentic. So I would say look for specific scholarships, be authentic, and also proofread. Proofread, because I cannot stress enough how many
Oh my
scholarships
God.
eliminate like after reading three sentences.
Oh my goodness, Haley, listen, I am, of all the parts of this podcast, that part that you just shared is going to be blasted 100 times because I work specifically with students when I collaborate with amazing programs like Trio and Gear Up, etc. That is a core part of the conversation because they're learning how to write a scholarship essay, right? So I
Yep.
really have to share with them like be authentic, be yourself. Don't try to sound like everybody else, which
Yes.
goes back to knowing your story, like knowing your success story, your failure story, your story of struggle, your story of adversity. And then the proofreading and editing. I think I say that during my workshop at least 30 gajillion times. So I'm going to hang on to that part of what you just said and really emphasize that because I tell students, it's the little things that you do that make a big difference, right? The
Yeah.
fact that you took the extra time to ask someone, hey, can you proofread and edit this? The fact that you took the extra time to make sure that your essay doesn't sound like everybody else. So my goodness. And I've done a few of these interviews already, and that same thing keeps popping up. Be authentic to who you are in your essay. Like literally like four times, four different people. So this is the theme, scholars, parents, as you're listening to this, the judges, the committees, the organizations, they want to hear the real you, not the perfection cookie cutter sounding like everybody else. So Haley, my friend, I high five you through the camera in the interview because I needed
Right.
that friend. Yes, absolutely. I love it. Okay. So, are there any, which you probably kind of touched on, because I was going to say, are there any common mistakes that students should avoid? So I know you mentioned, making sure you get the proofreading and editing and being authentic, but is there anything else, like maybe through the application process that students like forget or miss out on that kind of take them out of the game?
Yeah, so I have two things actually. One that I forgot to mention before, but one I would say something that students should make sure they don't miss is answering the fullness of the scholarship prompt. Because I know it's common for people to reuse scholarship essays, which I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I just think if you're going to reuse a scholarship essay, you have to make sure it matches the prompt. So maybe it won't be a whole copy paste thing. You could like use the essay and tweak it a little bit, but you need to answer the fullness of the prompt because if there's two parts, it's asking you something and why, and you don't answer the
Right.
and why part, you're most likely not going to win. So make sure you're answering the fullness of the whole entire prompt. And also, one thing to avoid, which we are seeing so, oh my gosh, so often now, is using ChatGPT to generate your essay. And I don't know if students know, but there are softwares out there that tell us, hey, this is generated by ChatGPT. So
Right.
going through, we have a whole database that checks through the essays and can tell if it's generated through ChatGPT. So I'm telling you, students, right
Wow.
now, if you generate your essays through ChatGPT, we will know that, we will detect it, and it will be thrown away.
Yes. Let me tell you, Haley, you need to be a part of the Scholar Budget Scholarship Bootcamp team because we could tag team and have this conversation for days. Everything
Yes.
you're saying is literally what I tell the students. So I'm so excited that you're saying it. Sometimes as human beings, like the people close to us can tell us something. We're trying to direct them on the right path. And then you have to have that outside voice come in and just co-sign what's been said. So I'm really so grateful you're sharing all of these things because I know when students hear it, they'll take this even more serious. Like, they're going to check, they're going to look to see if you're,
Yeah.
chat GPTing and if you're being authentic and you're proofreading and editing. And if there's three-part questions, you got to answer all three parts. So
Yes.
I'm so excited today. I'm really so excited. All right, let's keep this moving. Let's keep this moving. Okay. So I know that bold.org is definitely an organization of various amounts of peoples and collaboration that kind of brings everything together. So can you talk about that a little bit more so that if we have any individuals or organizations that want to get involved and they want to support, can you kind of explain how that process works and what that looks like?
Yeah. So, wait, so can you repeat that question? Are
Yeah,
you,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
just repeat
So like
it.
any no, no, no worries. If there's a person or an organization, like let's just say, there's a professor listening and he's like, "Oh, I want to do something with bold.org." What would that process look like for any individual or organization that wants to like start a scholarship and help students?
Okay, yeah. So there is so many different things that either individuals, like just regular people, if you are just, you don't even have, you don't work for an organization, you're not specifically in the education realm, you're just a normal everyday person, and they're like, hey, I want
Yeah.
to help people with scholarships. You could also do that as well. So the first thing that you would do is go to bold.org, and instead of continuing as an applicant, you would continue as a donor. And then the same thing, will ask you a few questions, and then you will create your profile. And once your profile is created, you could do a few things. So number one is you could create and fund your own scholarship. So scholarships start at a minimum of $500 on bold.org.
Okay.
So if you fund a scholarships for there's no cap to how much. So you could do 500, you could do 1,000 or even more, 10,000. We have some scholarships. We have one right now, I believe, for even $75,000 and spread out through a bunch of winners. So it's like $75,000, but a bunch of students are winning and splitting the prize.
I love it.
So there's so many different options and customizations that you could do for your scholarship. You could also do a fundraiser if you have an idea and a passion for a scholarship and you want to bring people together to raise money for it. You could start a scholarship fund and fundraiser, and then once you reach that goal, you could turn it into a scholarship. Or if you're just browsing through the website and you see a scholarship, I'm going to use the same example for women in STEM, and you are an alum and you're passionate about helping women in STEM and you want to donate, you're able to contribute to any scholarship on our platform. And that's not a $500 limit. You could do $10, $50.
Oh, that's
There's
so
yeah.
cool.
So you could just
Love it.
donate.
I love it. I'm such a fan. Like, now that I know more, I'm like totally fanning on bold.org. Shoot, I think I'm going to start my own scholarship through the Scholar Budget. It's
Yeah, that would be
definitely being
great.
done. Yes, I love it. So yeah, we'll talk more about that. But that's awesome. So anyone who's listening, doesn't matter who you are, where you come from. If you have a passion, just like Haley, just like myself in the Scholar Budget, and you want to be able to contribute and help a scholar get this much closer to earning a debt-free degree, please go check out bold.org and start a scholarship fund. And let me know what you're doing. I'd love to support. I'd love to push it out for you. So students, make sure you're applying. And if you're just someone listening and you want to contribute, please go onto bold.org and make it happen. So I know the answer to this, but I'm just going to ask you, just in case there's any extra resources, where can our listeners find more information about bold.org, Haley?
Yeah, they can go straight to bold.org. Straight to bold.org. We have all information there. If you want to know like legit more about the organization itself, head to bold.org, and instead of continuing as an applicant or a donor, just scroll all the way down to the mini links. There's frequently asked questions. We have a scholarship blog that you can check out that we're posting almost, I believe, weekly on the scholarship blog. There's a lot of resources, but they're all on bold.org, or you could even follow us at bold.org on DOT, not an actual dot. Bold.org on Instagram, on YouTube, and on TikTok as well. As far as donors, we have a Bold Foundation account as well. But yeah, if you want to find out all the information, it's mainly on bold.org.
Awesome. Wow, Haley, you have let me tell you, when I say I'm so excited I got to connect with you, I'm like excited on the inside and trying to compose myself. But we want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day to share with our listeners, with our parents, with our scholars. You shared like so many awesome nuggets that I know our scholars and listeners are going to implement. And bold.org is going to get a flood of students because I know our scholars are going to be visiting and taking advantage of. So is there anything else you want to share with us, Haley, before you leave us for today?
Sure. I would just say one thing that I could tell to students is don't get discouraged when I feel that we see a lot of students say, oh, I've applied for 5 scholarships and I haven't won one yet, when they only applied for 5 scholarships. It's very different for each student. It's sometimes a student can apply for 10 scholarships and then have their first win. Other times it takes applying to 100 scholarships to win your first win. You really can't tell, but also, what is that saying? It's like you miss every shot you don't take. So just keep applying to more, keep being encouraged, and keep going, because once you get that win, it's going to be all worth it.
I love it. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Haley. We appreciate you. Hey there. I hope you were taking notes and you're ready to implement what you heard. If this podcast inspired you or helped you in any way, I would love for you to subscribe, follow, and share this with a student, parent, or educator you care about, because sharing is caring. Also, your feedback means a lot. So please leave a written review of this show on Apple Podcasts. And if you ever want to connect outside of the podcast, you can find us at The Scholar Budget on Insta or the Book of Faces. So until next time, shine bright and put in the work so we can make those dreams a reality. Bye!